Hello everyone, welcome to the next session of Advanced Research Methodology Workshop. Topic of this lecture is research ethics. I am Dr. Devendra Yadav, Assistant Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, NIT Calicut. The content of my lecture is contents are introduction to research, why it is important to adhere to ethical norms in research ethics, scientific misconduct, plagiarism, Elsevier research policies and ethics, ethical do's and do nots for research, punishment, and summary of the next step. Before I begin, I found this quote very much relevant to for this lecture. Learning gives creativity. Creativity leads to thinking. Thinking provides knowledge, and knowledge makes you great. These lines are, these words are said by Bharat Sri APJ Abdul Kalam ji. Now, what is research? I know this research methodology workshop is very much dedicated for research and how you make your research capability improved after this workshop. So, this is just a summary, not much about research. Research is basically a systematic self-critical inquiry. Inquiry aims to uh, maybe solve a problem or to find the solution of an unsolved problem, or someone would like to uh, uh, further do some research, some analysis based on the finding of someone else's result. So it's a continuous process. One should practice and simultaneously follow some set of guidelines, process, steps, likewise. Types of research has already been discussed by some other lectures. So still just for revision, basic or fundamental research applied when you apply the fundamental uh, theory principle into your application purpose. Academic research, what the academician we are doing here, maybe for to set hypotheses, social science research, or such relevant studies sponsored when some external agencies give you some project to conduct research for a specific topic, or consultancy when you visit any firm organization to solve their problem, uh, then it is a part of consultancy research. So what should be the characteristics of research? Research should be original. If not, then at least it must be the extension of a work which has been carried out but needs some more updates into that. More variables may have come from the date of publication of that research. Likewise, so there are various things. At least there must be some sort of contribution, and it should try. It should proceed to achieve certain goals set by researchers, and often divide the main problem into sub-problems. It may employs the scientific method, follow ethical principles, which is equally very important. The research process begin with research problem identification. Then it defines the problem. Then it explores the relevant variables for that problem, develop hypothesis or model, it design research, conduct the survey, then data analysis, and then after that we see whether the research problem uh, is able to get its solution or not, whether the objective of research has been fulfilled or not. Eventually, if the answer is yes, then we will try to report the results and write the influence. Otherwise, again, you have to repeat the entire process. Meanwhile, you follow the other processes like you design the measurement, sampling, data collection method, analysis. So a hypothesis, what are the various tools, techniques will be used to uh, support your analysis. So likewise, you have to decide with due course of time. Next is tools of research. We use library resources, computers, measurement techniques, statistics techniques, methods, language, human intellect, how thoughtful we are, how intellectual, how much we can think, how much go detail into the problem, then how honest we are in solving the research problem. Next is importance of ethical codes in conducts while performing the research. So see, research is a very beautiful thing, and it is very important for our society upliftment, upgradation. We are in the race of becoming a superpower or very smart, very intelligent. So, um, so it's all the result of some research. So likewise, you also see you are also doing research in your own field. You are trying to bring out some theory, some development, some findings, maybe some instrument, some technology, some software. Right? So it's a ongoing process. We are in the process to make the things better, better and better. Okay. So this is the reason why it is important to be uh, good and follow the ethical code of conduct, because we have to be creditable, accountable for that work. We are aim to serve the society. We aim to be recognized as the good researcher. We want to promote the collaborative uh, work. We want to promote teamwork. Okay, so these are the reason why we should follow uh, some set of guidelines for research. So if we do good research, other will promote us, other will follow us, other will be interested to work with us. Okay, so these are the reason why we should follow the ethical codes. So definition of, we see the definition of ethics, then it is basically an academic discipline that is concerned with answering the questions about duty, honor, integrity, virtue, and all. There are two types of ethics are being followed. Uh, One is theoretical, which gives concept, theories, principles. And next one is applied, where the theories and thoughts, hypotheses, principles are being followed. Next is research ethics. So research ethics basically is a branch of applied ethics that studied the ethical problems, dilemmas, and issues that arise in the conduct of research. Ethical research, uh, ethics in research are very much mandatory, because there are various issues which we have to take care. We have to take care that one should not be harmed during our research, and research should be voluntarily, and participate participants should be informed about the goals and why you are doing that, what is the aim of that. Then they will uh, work with you, they will provide the relevant data to you. Right to privacy, from whoever you are collecting the data, you must not disclose their identity. Next is honesty. So whenever you are doing any work, please be honest, share the uh, details to your colleagues and collect their views. and uh, improve your research. So there are some areas of research ethics. Have a look. So first one is simultaneous submission. So you must not submit your research simultaneously into more than one journal. No informed consent. Whoever are the part of your work, they must be informed. Second is duplicate submission. Do not submit others' work by just changing the title, abstract, findings, and all. Salami slicing, you must not do some copy paste some part of this work. So like by just it's a kind of adding cut and paste from different sources and you another work. No permission for data information uses. If you are using data, if you are using some information, so you must obtain the prior information for that, or copyright issues may happen. Image manipulation, some researchers what they do, they just manipulate the figure, the points, the data points, data fabrication. They sometimes they change the data. The result, if it is coming towards a out of 5, the sample mean is for a particular variable, say it is 4.55. So if we do not want to put that variable into our picture, so what we'll do, we'll say that it is 2.55 and this particular variable is not relevant. So one should not practice such things. Next is plagiarism. Plagiarism I'll discuss in detail in the next slide. Data falsification, as you can understand from the figure itself. Authorship issues, who will be the first author, second author, likewise, who will be the authors of that particular work, conflict of interest, non-disclosure of safety procedure. It is very much relevant for healthcare sector, safety, mines, uh, and the hazardous based research. Next is data fabrication. Fabrication is basically making up data for your purpose. It may be by falsification, you are manipulating the data material, or you are copying or pasting it from somewhere else, or you are uh, undeliberately utilizing others' sources as your own. However, research misconduct does not include honest error or differences of opinion. Okay, different author may have different opinion, and if you find someone's mistake or your own mistake, you can report it. It will not be a part of research misconduct. Examples are fabricating research data, creating spreadsheets that contains demographic information and performance result for participants who do not exist. Right. So take care. Creating figures for public presentation that contain result of physical measures or anything which is not possible to obtain, it is not possible to reproduce. It means that there is something wrong. Right? So data uh, or result should be shown in such a way that if someone else is interested to reproduce it, he or she may reproduce. Okay. Also, reporting data that were not collected, filtering data to achieve a particular outcome, reporting only data that supports your hypothesis or intention, and making false claim to promote like this material gives better factor of safety, better strength, and eventually it end up with fracture. Like when we purchase the cover of mobile, so we'll see that okay, the claims like this will be long lasting, so and so, but eventually it will, when you use it, within 2 or 3 months it uh, gets cracked. So likewise, next is plagiarism. It is one of the most discussed topic among researchers. Basically, it is the process of deliberately using another's work without their permission, without giving credit to them or acknowledging them. Okay, it may be in different form, maybe data, maybe words, phrases, ideas, concept, but it's our duty, it's our responsibility to cite them because someone has hardly, someone has, worked hard to achieve those um, findings, right? Those results. So we should give the credit to them. There is one more concern, that is self-plagiarism. Okay, so it is equally not acceptable as the plagiarism is. Okay, so author who are in the process of writing their second paper, they should not use the part of the first paper which has been submitted to a journal or accepted. Right. So both the practices are unacceptable in research world. It doesn't mean that you stop research or you do not encourage uh, to work. There are various ways to avoid the plagiarism. First is paraphrasing. You can take the words of another source, you can restate them, or you can use your own language for paraphrasing. Okay, so uh, it is much better than copying and pasting the other's work and saying that it is your own work. You must give credit to them, but you modify, you paraphrase the sentences. And you also compare those paraphrase sentence with original sentence, and it should not contains more than 3 or 4 words in particular sentence. Next is summarizing. You can summarize the others finding into your own words, right? And if it is not possible for you to summarize them, or if it is not possible for you to uh, you know, paraphrase it, if it is a definition or something, then you can put it into double inverted comma and say that this author has said so and so. Okay, but it's your responsibility to give the proper citation. Next question is how to paraphrase. So for that, you can use synonyms for all words which are not generic. I'll give you some examples in next 3-4 slides how you can avoid the paraphrasing. Example 1, you can see blue one, sorry, this is the original. First column shows the original words or original sentences which has been taken from a particular paper. Second column shows plagiarized version. Third column shows acceptable paraphrase. So our aim is to achieve the acceptable paraphrase. That is the third column. Original, we have to compare the acceptable and original. We must not follow the second column, because here you can see the blue one, or blue one, the blue words, which the words which are in blue color are same as it is in the original, right? So you can follow such practices. In the second example, again the blue are the same which has been taken from the original. Okay, but in the acceptable paraphrase, that is the third column, you can see how you can change the sentence structure. Although here blue one are uh, not taken from the original one, but the way to connect and change the sentence structure. But in second column, which is the middle one, the blue one are the same which has been taken from the original book. So this is how you can avoid the plagiarism by paraphrasing through using synonyms and changing the sentence structure. If you see the third example here, what the author did, he used synonyms. Just see the second column and third column. It has been mentioned clearly how the uh, authors have avoided the plagiarism by paraphrasing through synonyms and changing the sentence structure. In the fourth example, what the author does, he tried to write the same words. Okay, you can see the blue one are the same, which are exactly appearing in the original version. Okay, in the both column, middle one and the last one. And why this is unacceptable? Because a writer has kept the same exact sentence structure. The writer had only substituted synonyms in certain places. In other, the wording is exactly the same as that of the original, even though the writer mentioned the original source in the introductory phrases. So this will improve the plagiarism, not the your capability or intellectual to avoid the plagiarism. See, this is how the authorships are to be structured. Policies are Policies at most research journals state that a person should be listed as the author of a paper only if that person made a direct and substantial intellectual contribution. Okay. In the example, there are 4 authors. So the order of author is based on the research contribution. This, if a scholar or student is a part of that work, then he'll or she will be in the first one, followed by the collaborator or supervisor. Citation. You, while writing papers, it is not mandatory like you give only one citation in a particular sentence. If that particular sentence is, or you are uh, trying to reproduce or modify that sentence, and that sentence is very much relevant or has already been used in other studies, so you can cite more than one source. Here it has the author has cited about 7 or 8 sources from here where they have got gotten the idea. See, citation is a process of giving due respect to the researchers by citing their work. Okay. It does not have your research, but makes your work visible and respectable. Okay. So whenever you get an idea from someone else's work, please cite them. Also cite the sources if you are uh, modifying a type of figure which is or which has already been a part of someone else's work. So see the example here, figure 1. It has been written like modified from Diabat and Govindan 2011. So this is how you can give proper citation, proper credit to the researchers. Next is acknowledgement. So acknowledgement is the process through which you say thanks to the people, to individuals who provided help during the research. Okay, they may be your lab fellow or the other fellow who have helped you in data collection or correcting your research paper, okay, or what do you say, English correction, proofreading, so and so, or other sources, like for if your project is funded by some external agencies, then you can also include their name, their details into the acknowledgement section. Next is see, whenever you start uh, your submission process, before submission, what we do, we simply see what are the guidelines, author guidelines, submission guidelines, policies, okay. So here I am giving example of Elsevier research policy. So what it says, authorship of paper should be clear, and the author will be those who has contributed significantly. The research article should be original and without plagiarism, or there is some limitation, varies from journal to journal. Next, the submission should not be uh, or it's not. It means that you should not submit your work simultaneously to more than one journal. Okay. At a time, one journal. So whenever you submit your work, do not change some title and submit into some other journal, so that if one journal reject, another accept. Okay, let it be rejected or let it be accepted by the first journal. Why to uh, follow the unethical practices, right? Next is acknowledgement. Whenever you are doing any work, or and that is being supported by other fellows, you must acknowledge them. Disclosure and conflict of interest. If any conflict of interest is arising, please solve them and try to settle all such things before submission. Use a patient image or case details. So such, whenever you are using such images, please do not disclose the identity of those individuals. Researchers, please remember, publication is a team effort. Author submit paper to journal, then journal ask reviewers to review the paper, and that reviewers and those reviewers review it, give their time, give their attention, and uh, give the comments to authors. What are the responsibility of authors? It's your responsibility. It's our responsibility to ensure that our work is new and original. All authors who are the part of uh, this research must be aware and agree whatever is being submitted to the journal. And we must agree that your work can be reviewed or examined by anonymous reviewers. And you also provide the copy of relevant data on information if required. And you can obtain the copyright permission if you are using images or data from some agencies where it is not permitted to use their data without prior permission, and include proper affiliation of all the authors. Next is peer review. Peer review means reviewing the process. It's a voluntarily work, voluntarily job, will not be paid for being a reviewer. So be honest for that. See, what do you do if you learn something from reviewing a manuscript that could help your own research? It's good. It's possible, because everyone is submitting new work to your field, different field, but you are uh, asked to review paper of your own field, so there will be some advanced thing. So you can learn, but you must not produce or reproduce those works in your agent your own work. Your responsibility is to review the paper and uh, give your decision on right time. See, every journal has some policy and they give you around 30 days or 45 days to review the paper. So try to return the paper within those given time period. Next is, what can you do to protect your intellectual property during review process? Okay. Whenever you have, you may feel like someone may use your thoughts, process, and may reproduce that one in their own work. It is unpublished work, it is under review, it may take 3 to 4 months to get published, right? So in that case, you can give not each detail into your work, but which is required to understand the steps, but not uh, fully so that one can reproduce it. Each and every bit of information may not be given. However, it's the responsibility of the reviewer to not uh, uh, utilize such data, such information for their own work. Next is, can graduate student read manuscript on behalf of their professors? If someone asked to me, I would say this is unethical and this should not be practiced. I don't know how about other professors and scholars, but yeah, for some cases, if professor is not getting, not understanding or something, then he may take help of a student. Maybe he can ask the student to sit in front of him and may help in reviewing that work, but not like, okay, you just do it, because it's your responsibility. You have accepted to review the work, right? So you should review it. There may be conflict of interest or obligation in the research process. It is basically a situation in which one experiences conflicting pulls from one's personal interest. So one is very much interested to uh, state or to quote or to include his own thoughts, his own perception. Like the result will be in this way. This particular variable must not come into the picture. This particular variable should come into the picture. Maybe the data is supporting or not. So such things may happen. Or the next example is being paid to say something untrue. Like some other examples are also given. Knowing that if you say something positive about a company or organization, you will get another opportunity for funding of our project. Next is indirect example. Next example is, a funding agency may stipulate that they have a right to decide whether you can publish your findings or you can delay the publication. So these are the part of research. It may happen, but one should be very wise, very clear, and accept the changes. And what are the changes? Changes are, things are becoming transparent, and one should not follow unethical practices. Changes means we should not follow unethical practices, not to accept the wrong practices. So what to do? If you claim that you are a good researcher, your research ethics must not allow. Okay. If so, just see, researchers should maintain a precise record of all work. You should report all data in most cautiously and objectively possible ways. During your research on animal or trees or human being, please treat them with care, respect, and empathy. Respect all the intellectual property you use uh, in the process of conducting your research, and maintain the confidentiality of participants and individuals if they are part of your research as a sample. and what must not do. Whenever you must not fabricate, manipulate, or misrepresent data. Should not be biased while interpreting the results. You must not use external research data without prior permission. You must strictly avoid plagiarism and self-plagiarism. Without considering ethical issues, do not conduct research on human, animal, trees, and so on. And do not ignore outliers, missing data. Report such findings because reasons of getting that data is also important in research. And also disclose a conflict of interest. It means that whoever are part of your work must be aware and accept whatever you are going to submit or going to publish. So there are 5 principles for research ethics. Number 1 is discuss intellectual property frankly. Second is be conscious. Third is follow informed consent rules. Fourth is respect confidentiality and privacy of participants. And fifth is know how the ethical resources. You must know uh, the various resources from where you can get the idea about research ethics. If you will not follow the research ethics, if you will not follow the code of conduct, will not follow uh, the set of procedures, guidelines, then your paper may be retracted. So this shows that 127 papers from India are retracted for image duplication and manipulation. In another example, it says more than 40% of chemistry papers retracted in the last 2 years because of plagiarism. It is a finding of a study by Goddard in 2019. It has been published in Chemistry of Materials. So he has taken data for 17 and 18, and the reasons for retracted are shown in the image. So accordingly, it says that plagiarism has a major role in uh, paper retraction. Okay, followed by data issue. Whether data were fault, problematic, uh, data ownership was not there, then honest error, experiment error, theoretical error, work not reproducible, likewise. Then unclear authorship. So these are the various reasons through which your paper can be retracted even after the acceptance. So please follow the guidelines set by the journals in which you are going to submit your next work. Now it is very important. Just read it. Where do students learn ethical decision making? From their mentor, from faculty members, from their friends, from family, from different literatures, different labs, seminars, organizations, right? So one should learn ethical practices from various sources. So be cautious and follow the research ethics, that it is very important and it is very uh, relevant for young researchers who are recently venturing into the ocean of research. I would like to summarize this lecture by mentioning few things. You should follow correct research processes, practices. You should check the plagiarism of your manuscript before submission and cite the relevant work wherever possible or when you use others' work, others' thought, and give acknowledgement to the people who had helped you in completing your research work. Remember, research is a continuous process of learning, growing, and helping others. Okay, so keep learning, keep growing, keep researching, keep working, and eventually you will be a good researcher. Thank you for listening. And, I would like to acknowledge Professor R. Sridharan and Dr. Sandeep, my colleagues, for completing this lecture. Thank you. There are others. The references are also mentioned uh, at the end of this presentation.